Hello, hello, hello. Antphrodite here, your pop culture psychic, back again with another pick a card reading. This time it's for past life karma. So this is for what past life karma do you have and need to work through in this life. So I'm going to show you the piles. We have pile 1 right here, which is a lollipop. Pile 2, which is the Yin Yang, kind of reminds me of peace. And pile 3, which says I love you. So meditate, relax, close your mind. Which one do you resonate with? Which one calls to you? Do you see 1, 2, or 3? Then click down below for the number that corresponds with the one that you picked. And remember, these readings are all alleged for entertainment purposes only. If you really like these readings, there's a link down below to my PayPal. And let's get started. Pile number 1, hello. This is for your past life karma. Now remember to tip. There's a link down below to my PayPal if you enjoy this. And follow me on my socials, Antphrodite everywhere. Now, the lollipop to me, I always think of innocence. This thinks of youth, childhood, innocence. I also think of sweet, right? Like a sweet sort of mentality and mindset. So we're going to keep that in mind and see how it applies moving forward. Okay, so the God card that we pulled here is Hypnos. So this is about sleep. So first of all, you guys are definitely going to get images in your dreams, 1000%. You should have some sort of vivid dream. A lot of times stuff like this makes me think of like a specific person that you see in your dreams. Has a lot of relevance. Now, there is like a secretive energy as well about that. So keep going. Morgan Le Fay magic. Okay. Ooh. I wonder if something was stolen from you. Yeah. So there's Cancer, which is family. So definitely we're looking at some, here I'll put on this side so it's easier to see. We're looking at some family trauma, but also sensitivity. And Gemini, the split. Okay, so I can tell you it definitely looks like there's some sort of family trauma when it comes to the splitting up of that. Maybe in a past life, your family like split up at a young age, or there was maybe a death early in the family. So a lot of times in this life, there are attachment issues, clinginess or abandonment one way or the other. A lot of times, especially with Gemini and Cancer, to me, there's a feeling of almost like wishy-washy with emotions. And magic to me makes me think of like your innocence was stolen. So sometimes, I mean, realistically speaking, it could be that maybe in a past life, one of them, because we have multiple, maybe we died, or you, if you picked pile number 1, you died early. Perhaps like as a child, or perhaps maybe you were a mother who passed during childbirth. Sometimes that's something that could happen. But in this instance, it looks more about learning the lesson of innocence, and like the innocence was stolen. Sacrifice, yep. Revenge. So one of the things that we're going to have to work on in this life is letting go. Because I think that there's been a feeling of like done wrong consistently from previous lives. There's like a need to like grow up early. Sometimes we like feel like we were forced to grow up early. We didn't really get to enjoy our childhood. And revenge is the thing we need to be careful of, because we had to let go and sacrifice so much. A lot of times people like this will relive their past life karma. So maybe there was a death in the family when they were younger, or maybe they had to be a parentified child or really take care of their family. They're the oldest child. Sometimes stuff like that happens, and revenge tells me be careful of lashing out at other people and wanting to get even and wanting to do to others what was done to you. That's a toxic trait that really needs to be worked on. Ooh, so Earth is grounding. That's not really super shocking. And which is power. So I think for this specific group, this is all about learning how to not only establish our own personal power, but how to enact that. I think people in this group are kind of predestined to be in control and to establish themselves in something consistently. You're going to see a lot of entrepreneurial endeavors in this group, or people who try to rise to the top of the ranks. These are not going to be the pile for the people that need to just be complacent. These are the people that are going to need to achieve. So if you chose this pile in order to conquer your past life karma, you're going to have to achieve. And I think for you, you're going to have to treat people better than they were treated. And so, like, I would say, like, if I were to choose a villain arc, man, that's a good pick a card idea. What would your villain arc be? If you guys want me to do something like that, put in the comments down below. But I think for me, when I think of this, especially with that witch's hat, the villain arc here would be someone that got so frustrated and so lonely and isolated that they focused so hard on money and status that they became a billionaire and isolated themselves from everyone. And that's kind of like the journey here, is about the balance between personal life, professional life, goal achievement, and then, you know, making sure we don't abuse that, because you guys are going to be in power positions in your life. You're going to have power over other people at some point. You just to make sure you don't abuse it like it was done to you. Solace, that's isolation. That's the big thing we have to worry about. And then the 3 graces, to me, very, very important when it comes to not only like expressing our feelings and stuff like that, but to me, it's also about surrounding ourselves with good people. This group is going to have a very hard time making friends, a very hard time keeping friends, and a very hard time finding their tribe. It's going to be difficult. You guys are going to have to be the leader. You're going to be afraid to be the leader. You're going to be afraid to initiate. But you're not going to have a choice, especially with the past life karma of not getting to experience a lot of stuff when we were younger, not really getting to heal our inner child, which you're going to need to do this time. You're going to have to do a lot of healing of your inner child, a lot of nurturing and kind of going back to your roots. You want to think of yourself as a big kid that is responsible and need to be, rather than someone who's responsible all the time. So finding good people to help you is really important. Here we have the 3 of Pentacles reversed. So there it is. The need to, what's the word? It's about, obviously work-life balance is going to be really hard for this group, but with the 3 of Pentacles reversed, it's like, yeah, career is going to be a major focus for you guys, but you know what to do in career. You're going to know what to do. So you're kind of predispositioned and given a lot of tools that other people don't have. You're going to naturally pick up stuff in your career faster. You're going to naturally connect with that. You have to work more on your interpersonal connections. This is going to come easy to you. 6 of Cups is the past. And then we have here the King of Wands. So the King of Wands is about passion and even aggression. The 6 of Cups is the past. So for me, that I always think of that as like, obviously to be careful of history repeating itself, but I think one last thing I would say for at least the card portion of this, because I'm going to do something else. But I feel like when it comes to the way you express yourself, you guys are going to be very similar to how you were when you were a child. Like the way you express yourself, the things you're into. It's not that you haven't evolved, but it's that there's always that childish energy, and there's always that sort of weird communication style. And so you have to learn to marry that with maturity. It's like the perfect balance of immature and mature. You're going to really have to work on that. Just because King of Wands and 6 of Cups makes me think you guys make the same mistake over and over and over and over and over again. And when you're connecting to people and talking to them, when you're making your decisions, tempers could get the best of us sometimes. Our creative passions could sometimes burn too hot. So it's like you have to really make sure that, yeah, you express yourself and you allow yourself to feel, but you also need to sort of articulate it in a way that is easily digestible. Okay, I'm going to do something else. So this was something that was in a suggestion. I am going to shuffle my playlist and get a song for you guys. So let's do that right now. Aww. This is so cute. So Carly Rae Jepsen's More Than a Memory. So that makes me think of you guys really needing to make sure that your life, obviously you want your life, you want to leave a legacy, you want to leave something that you're proud of, but you also have to remember that it's more about the specific, it's more than just the specific things you do. It's also about the way that you feel and living in the moment. So I think like you have to think smaller sometimes. We'll put another song. Oh my God, that's embarrassing that this is on my playlist. So Rock Me from One Direction. Hit the pedal, heavy metal, show me you care. I think you guys need to be careful of testing people. That's what that makes me think. Be careful of testing people. We'll do one more. Oh, Britney Spears, Don't Cry. One of my favorites. You need to learn to let your feelings out. Let your feelings out and learn to forgive people, because Don't Cry from Britney Spears is literally all about like someone who like cries wolf and someone who's like sorry and crying, but it's too late. And I think for you guys have to work on that hardening of yourself. So if you enjoyed that, make sure you tip. There's a link to my PayPal down below. Follow me, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Antphrodite. And good luck, group number 1. Group number 2, this is for your past life karma. So if you love this, make sure you tip. There's a link to my PayPal down below. But if you picked group number 2, this is the Yin Yang. So this is about your light and your dark. So definitely looking at probably a more intense spread here. I'd be shocked if it wasn't a little bit dark. And I will also tell you it's about peace. So this makes me think of like coming to peace. This also makes me think of duality. So a struggle of identity is going to be common with this one. So let's keep going. Prometheus, altruism. Ooh, am I psychic or am I psychic? Oh my God. It's all about morality, doing the right thing. Peleus, purpose. Okay. So there's a hyper focus on what your purpose is in this life. And there's also a hyper focus on morality, what is good and what is bad. And for me, I think that in the past, it looks like you guys tried very hard to do the right thing, but was forced to do the wrong thing. That is the past life karmas. Someone forced your hand and you had no choice but to do something dark. Your shadow side. Earth and air. Oof. So earth is obviously stability and consistency, but air is all about communication and flightiness. So that combination tells me that in your past life, you had something that was stable and consistent, and then chaos happened. So for me, I don't know if you were maybe in a war and you had to force yourself to do something, or if you were a leader, you know, and you had to make a decision that would come at the detriment of other people. It could even be that your family was under attack and you had to defend them. Anything like that. There's just something that you had to do that was out of your character that sort of almost made you feel like you became a different person. Peace among thorns, and I won't cry for you. So for me, this is about survival mode. So this group has a lot of trouble with getting stuck in survival mode in this life. Feeling like they need to do things, not really feeling like they have a choice in the matter of what they want to do, where they want to go, who they want to be. Feeling like life forces them to make decisions that they don't want to make. I also think that this group has a hard time rationalizing things. I think that they punish themselves a lot. They're kind of like, I need to be a better person, or you're not a good person, you're a bad person. This group, your lesson, this life is to learn that people are complex and complicated, and that decisions aren't always easy, and someone is going to lose and someone is going to gain in every decision that you make. So indecisiveness can sometimes happen with this group in this life. I'll also say I won't cry for you and peaceful among thorns means that we can be extremist if we're not careful. So this group is going to go one of two ways, either massive extremists or completely numb, where nothing shocks them and they're kind of just like whatever about life, or they're an extremist where they're like, I really love dogs and you said something bad about dogs. I can't stand this. Like sometimes they can be very hot and cold with that. It's all about balance. I definitely think Libra energy is needed here. It's all about balance. Also, like, you're not one thing. Who you are changes and evolves. Like, your purpose in life is always going to change. Like, these people are probably going to start doing one thing with their life and then end up doing another. These people are the people that water a lot of seeds and go to each flower every so often and enjoy it. Initiation. Oh my God. Chalice fulfillment. Yeah. So for me, it definitely feels like you guys were a part of something. Maybe you guys were stuck in a cult, or maybe you were a part of some sort of group, or I don't know if it was a religion, whatever it is. All I can tell you is you guys were a part of a hive mind. It's not that you were weren't able to think for yourself. It's more so that you had no choice. So perhaps born into something like this, or forced into something, or maybe someone took something over and you were stuck in it. There's just something that like you were forced to do. Because I think of that like drinking the Kool-Aid and initiating yourselves into it. So it seems like there's like a forced behavior, like a forced thing. Like maybe you married into something. Like I could read this as like maybe being married into a royalty, or maybe being married into someone who's a part of a group, or, you know, becoming really close friends with someone, or being adopted as a kid into a family that does something. There's definitely some sort of like forced hand. Yep, stolen inner sleep. Yep. And into the woods, a new experience in a strange land. Yes, it was a forced, you were forced to be something that you didn't want to. So this life, there's a lot of rebellion, but you have to make sure that you understand that people are complex. That's the lesson, is like people are very complex. They're not black and white. Two of Wands, that's friction. Also, I do think that's sex as well. I do think there are some sexual issues. Some of you might have shame, but I also feel like there's a lot of like there's a weird connection to sex. Like there's a weird sort of like, it's because it's mixed with vulnerability. Like there's some sort of aversion or obsession. There's just something weird that you guys have with sex that's from this as well. Five of Pentacles. Yep. See, that's like power over someone else. So it's like you have a hard time with power dynamics and people having power over you. Sorry that these are a little bit overexposed. But there's like this weird dynamic with like power over you and people doing things that they shouldn't, the morality of other people. And I think that kind of manifests into sex as well. And then the Eight of Swords, a victim of circumstances. I'm spot on with this. I'm telling you, it's all connecting. So the Eight of Swords would be a victim of circumstance. You are a victim of circumstance. So you also have a soft spot for people that are victims of circumstances. So very, very much going to see a lot of obsession with charity work. Charity work is going to be really important. Helping the helpless. I wouldn't be surprised if people in this group have like really big passions for people who are homeless, or people, or like children, like in orphanages and things like that, or like the feed the children stuff. Like it definitely feels very much like a massive like overextension because of the past life that they had, where they were kind of forced to be in a situation. And I also think they need to understand that life is very complex and it's not easy. I wouldn't even be surprised if people from Group A or Group 1 and Group 2 had a past life together. You know what I mean? Because it seems like there's like that power dynamic. Okay, so I'm going to go through. I've been doing this where I shuffle my playlist and I pick a few songs that connect with this group. Aww. So Kesha's Thinking of You. To me, that's about that's about like never letting go. So definitely a lesson here in learning to let go. And it's also about wanting someone to be exposed for who they are. And I think got to work on that, you know, in time, the universe will right wrongs. So you got to remember that. Breathe in, breathe out from Hilary Duff. Not only is that a bop, but that's about calming yourself. Meditation is super important for this group. Journaling is going to be super important for this group. And it's also just about being at peace. Like, you're never going to be able to fix the world. You guys are fixers, and you have a savior complex. You're never going to be able to heal and fix everyone. And then we'll do one more. Volcano by Brooke Candy. Ha ha! Obviously, it's a little bit of volatile energy, but I think that more speaks to the sexual aspect of this, where you need to allow yourself to relax, embrace, and enjoy sexual experiences, or even just intimacy in general. For me, allow yourself to erupt like a volcano and feel whatever it is that you feel. But work on that temper, sis, because this group got an attitude and a temper, and that's okay, but you gotta be careful of who you use that against. So if you like this, make sure you tip. There's a link to my PayPal down below, and follow me Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Antphrodite. Until next time, good luck. Group number 3, this is for your past life karma. So remember, if you like this tip, there's a link to my PayPal down below. So if you guys chose this one says, I love you. So first of all, I don't know, some of you might not have heard I loved you a lot in your lives, or maybe in your childhood or whatever, because it's showing right there. I also do think that you guys had a very prominent relationship in a past life. Codependency, very big in a past life here. But I also think that there's a lot of relationship issues that are going to need to be sort of sorted out. So let's keep going. Even family too, because it's still love. Green Man, abundance. Ooh. Oh my God. This is Hather contentment. But wait, she's like kind of pregnant too. I think that this group was married to someone with a lot of power and influence in their past life. 100%. 100%. Because this is what this makes me think of. The person you were with had a lot of power and influence and a lot of control. Because contentment means like that's what you were supposed to do. This is the moon. Ooh, so the moon is about lies, deceit, and deception. So for me, this is about people not telling the truth. This group has a very hard time with people who do not tell the truth. It's a massive trigger. Even little lies triggers them. And this group has a hard time with lying. I will tell you that it does. Fire. So to me, it's not that this group doesn't lie, but what I'm seeing with the moon, because the moon is always lies and deception to me. It's a little bit of emotion, but it's very much like lies and deception. With the fire sign or the fire card, it makes me think of like 0 to 100 when you catch someone in a lie, and like a very big flare up and anger from that. There's a lot of pent up aggression. I definitely feel like this placement, oh my God, this group, I feel like that has anger issues, 100%, or at least had. If you don't now, it's because you've worked through the past life karma. But I think that a lot of this group has anger issues, because the massive, what you have to remember is this past life and the moon makes me think that your entire relationship was a lie and your entire relationship was shrouded in secrecy and manipulation. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you were forced to be with someone who cheated on you. I wouldn't be surprised if you were forced to be with someone who's a bad person. I wouldn't be surprised if you had to look the other way, or if you were in an abusive relationship. That is what this is. Now, sometimes that manifests into this life where you end up in another abusive relationship, or you end up in another emotionally unavailable person, or someone that takes advantage of you. And I do think that this group, you're going to be drawn towards powerful people in this life, because that's exactly what you were connected to in a past life. And you have to learn to be that powerful person. This group has to be the power position because they were this in the past life. Yep, calling a storm and parasite. Woo, y'all cause drama. Okay, Calling the Storm is about chaos. First of all, I will say this group definitely survives in chaos and does well in chaos, which is not always a good thing. Sometimes it means you're addicted to chaos. Sometimes it just means you're confrontational. But I do think that you guys are not afraid to kick shit up. The Parasite card says stuff eats away at you very, very quickly, and you can't hold it in. So this is explosive, I'm not going to lie. So definitely looking at very rebellious energy. You're also looking at people that just want to break free. There's this feeling of being chained and tied down and sort of it's just this weird rebellious energy. It's all tied to that. I'm telling you, like, you were forced into some sort of connection that felt like massive codependence. And also, Calling the Storm in Parasite tells me that it's a very tick, tick, boom type of energy where it's like you'll take it, and then you'll explode. That's because of your past life where you were forced to just take it and take it and take it. And this life is teaching you that stop tick, tick, booming and just go boom in the beginning. That way you can push that person away, or you can push that thing that's not right for you. You're going to have a lot of stuff manifest to you that is not right for you because you're supposed to learn the lesson of what to look out for. You need to pay attention to those red flags. Hearth is homecoming. Tarot cards guidance. Well, now this group needs to come to me. I'm just kidding. I think that you guys are homecoming and hearth. That to me makes me think of like where I feel safe, finding my safe place, finding my safety net, making my safe space in general. And the tarot cards and guidance to me is about the future. It's all about like predictions and things like that. I'm going to be honest with you. I see that as something that I feel that's a little bit more of a nomad lifestyle where there's a lot of change. I also feel like this group in particular is definitely going to get some form of very specific information from tarot cards in general, or from a reading, or from a psychic or something. It looks like someone is going to come to you probably soon after reading this, and you're going to get some really valuable information about relationships in your life. It also looks like a manifestation is coming soon, but your sense of home is something that's always going to change. You're never going to have that white picket fence. You're never going to have that normalcy. Your normalcy is a little bit of chaos. So maybe you're going to be traveling a lot, or maybe you're going to have to go back and forth to places, or maybe you're going to be in multiple relationships where, you know, you just kind of date people for a certain period of time for a while. You're definitely not going to have that semblance of normalcy because you did that already in a past life. You did that already. You're not doing that again. You're not going to have that. If that's what you want, you're fighting against the grain. You need to embrace something different, unique in terms of relationships. This is not the group that's going to do well with like, I marry someone, we have kids, we have a dog. That's not going to work for you. And that will end up being challenged and fall apart eventually because you have to think bigger. Stardust, premonition. I'm telling you, this is all about bigger. Dark moon, maturing, growing up, introspection. You guys see through people like it's crazy. This group is so perceptive. This group is so perceptive. You see through people so quickly. So quickly. You have this, right? Tarot cards, which makes me think that you guys can literally predict shit. And then you have this, which is premonitions and predicting things. This group could be a little bit psychic in general. But the Dark Moon card here is all about people's intentions. I see that as people's intentions. Knowing exactly whether people are a good person or a bad person. That's what you're learning. Hermit, do not isolate. This group, holy crap. Now, not only is Hermit a little bit of a loner, but this one also makes me think of, like, stop isolating. Like, I get it, you're independent, you're alone, you're a loner, but don't isolate yourself. Oh, this one's already flipped. Seven of Swords, failure. And Nine of Pentacles, other people. You will fail if you focus on others. Not only will you fail if you focus on others too much, but I also think you will have and have had failure. This makes me think of probably at a young age, because Hermit usually is what like we were introspecting from. So for me, it seems like there was some sort of setback or failure at a young age due to someone else's neglect or issue. And there's a lot of trauma based off of that. And it's about letting that go and embracing the future from that. That again, that happened from the codependency in the past life. It connected to your family life. Okay, we're gonna pull some songs. So I'm gonna do 3 songs shuffled on my playlist to see what resonates for this group. Now let's do this. Let's get a good shuffle here. Oh my God, It Ain't Me from Kygo and Selena Gomez. First of all, Kygo is so hot. So for me, that's about feeling super dedicated to someone and not feeling like the reciprocation. I also see that as sometimes not taking responsibility or frustrated with people who don't take responsibility and working on that. Okay. But I really need to be careful because that song, I always think about taking care of someone. And it's like, be careful of taking care of someone that won't take care of you. And then we'll shuffle again. Sober from Selena Gomez. Oh my God, you are addicted to certain things. Now, sometimes these people might actually struggle from with sobriety issues, or with substance abuse or things like that, because this is recipe for escapism. When you're in a situation that you don't like, it's definitely a recipe for escapism. And I also will say that this is also about detaching from a certain type of person. It's like you date the same type of person, you connect the same type of person, you're addicted to that certain type of energy. Also not lost on me that both of these songs are Selena Gomez songs, and there's over 1,000 songs on this playlist. So I think that you guys definitely probably have something in common with Selena Gomez, or there's some sort of, there's something about her life. Maybe you've had a similar experience like she had with Justin Bieber, or maybe you idolized something you shouldn't have, or something like that. And then we'll pull the last one here. I'm excited. It's Paper Gangsta from Lady Gaga. So that's about people faking the funk in terms of relationships, pretending to be something they're not. And it's also about wealth, becoming wealthy, becoming successful, connecting with people who are that. Because that song, I think, was originally written about her signing a bad contract. And her not wanting to get into that again. But it's connected to her relationships as well. People who are pretending to be wealthy, or people who are pretending to be something they're not. And it's also a level of control, because money has control over other people. And that person had a power position over her and gave her a shitty contract. And so I just think that you guys are going to be around a lot of people who have power and influence, and you're going to have to learn to navigate that. This group, I will tell you, use your codependency issues from the past to your advantage. Networking is going to get you everything in life. For you, it's the people that you know, the people that you connect with. Don't be afraid to flirt with some people to get ahead. I said what the fuck I said. Anyways, I hope you guys liked that. If you did, make sure you follow me, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Antphrodite. And there's a link down below in my PayPal if you'd like to tip. And until next time, good luck.